Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Wednesday's Market SITREP Situation Report here at Top Gun Options. My name is Matthew Buckley. Call sign is Wiz, and good-looking weekly options trades. Got three of them going down range. We have a bear call spread on China via FXI that's up about 45% right now, $660 in since Monday afternoon, and we have a S&P 500 bear call spread that expires this afternoon, currently up about 69%, $1,400, and we're looking to with a pretty high probability, 77% of making $2,000 in 2.5 days. So nice trade, $2,000, 2.5 days. And then yesterday, I legged into an iron condor on volatility, VXX. I think volatility is going to stay range bound for the week. It's going to swing around a lot, but we're starting. You know what's certain right now is uncertainty. So think about that for a second. What's certain now is uncertainty. So vol is actually coming in a little bit. It's going to pop and drop based on the Twitter account of you know who. So good looking trade right here as well. So let's take a look at the metrics of this trade. Risking about $3,900 for the week to potentially make $3,600, and look at that going right through the fairway. Actually, at market open today, when the things were in the red, it was down here. Now it's in the middle, and it could go up here. This is kind of the football field. I want this thing to run around in the football field, but by Friday, as long as it's between our two strikes, as long as VXX is above 27 and below 30, which is a nice wide iron condor, we're going to make about $3,900. So really happy with our weekly options performance. Now let's get to what's going on here. And real quick reminder, we knocked out Full Throttle Training Session 1 last night. Had a great hour-and-a-half brief last night after the market was closed, so we can relax and talk through things. Talked about my strategic, operational, and tactical methodology. Talked about our proprietary 7-step trade plan. And then also took a look at my intelligence sources. So that is posted on the replay page for all of my Full Throttle folks. Let me kick off with a little bit of politics here, because former Secretary of Defense Mattis, guy served 40-ish years in the Marine Corps, served his country again when he was called to be Secretary of Defense. Really good article on leadership, and also more or less about building teams and coalitions and having allies, and I get that. So it was a good write-up, but I gotta strongly disagree with the former SecDef, who's now going to be hero on the left, when he says, when President Trump asked him to be SecDef, he says, to quote a great American company's slogan, "You just do it." To quote a great American company's slogan, "You just do it." Everybody listening to my voice and looking at their screen knows exactly what great company he's talking about. American company called Nike? General Mattis, are you shitting me? Did somebody else write that for you? Half of this country can't stand Nike. You're going to promote a company whose new CEO is Colin Kaepernick? Their campaign, a campaign like Just Do It, was Colin Kaepernick's nappy face going, stand for something even if you sacrifice everything. Stand for something? What's he standing for? Right? One day it's police brutality, one day it's this, the other night it's not getting enough. What are you doing, General Mattis? A great American company who defers to a washed-up football player. This guy, for Christ's sake, folks, this guy said, sacrifice everything, even if you stand for something. He got $60 million from Nike. And General Mattis, you know as well as I do, down the street from where the Pentagon is, there's a Arlington National Cemetery. You want to talk about people who sacrificed everything? Come on, dude. I'm furious with that sentence. A great American company. It is not a great American company, General Mattis, and you swing and miss on that one. So welcome to being a new liberal hero on the left, because people are going to seize on you, obviously, poking at the president. I get you didn't like his leadership style. You don't name the president, and you still have a little bit of a respectful tone, but sneaking that sentence in there is a disgrace. Every guy I know who served on active duty, people I know right now serve on active duty, can't stand Nike. So you're a little bit disconnected. That was a swing and a miss, General. Good stuff going on down south. I just think it's comical to see what's going on between Bolsonaro and Macron, Cuck Macron and Bolsonaro. We're going to talk about Brazil and the EWZ, the Brazilian iShares ETF, at 1 o'clock in our Accelerator Retirement. We need to talk about the good things going on down south with his privatization efforts and really turning that place around. He's the Trump of the tropics, they call him, right? He's either going to do this or he's going to die trying. And I don't mean that figuratively, hopefully not. Beijing blocks another U.S. Navy request for a port call. So one of our ships was supposed to dock in one of the eastern cities. It wasn't going to be Hong Kong. It was a different city, and they canceled it. So hey, any other joint military stuff? You pulling in that? I pulled into Hong Kong. What was it 4 times? Whatever it was. Been to Hong Kong on the aircraft carrier a couple times. Been there to give speeches, and now we're kind of shuntering all this type of stuff. Doesn't bode well. Martial law is considered in Hong Kong to crush pro-democracy protests. What has happened in the past, let me do the math real quick, 56 hours on the president's Twitter feed about China? Nothing. Creepy. This is creepy, folks. As the president changed his tune, we've gone a couple days, man, without of course, he blasted the Fed. The Fed can't mentally keep up with our competition. So that hasn't changed, but the guy's gone radio silent on China. It's shocking. I'm hitting refresh. I'm looking at my phone to make sure my apps. So, interesting development that the president, for now, has more or less gone quiet. But if he's going quiet to maybe get people back to the table, Goldman Sachs was a week and a half, 2 weeks late after I said this. Goldman said Trump's decision to delay tariffs was seen as weakness by China and actually escalated the trade war. Not only does it escalate the trade war, it escalates tensions with what's going on in Hong Kong. If they institute martial law and crush pro-democracy protests, there is zero probability of a trade deal. Republicans and Democrats, the one thing they can agree on in Washington is what? We ain't getting no trade deal, folks, if they decide to crush pro-democracy protests. It's over with. Oof. So that's not good. I thought this was a great interview today. Former Democratic Senator Max Baucus. Trump almost brilliant in trying to time the China deal closer to the election. Guess what? He was a former ambassador to China. And guess what he's saying? The stock market, Trump's playing this like a fiddle. I'm glad Senator Baucus is a member of Top Gun Options. I said this a year and a half ago. I said the president's going to drag this thing out. He's going to get it as bloody as he can and get as good deal it can, and he's going to get a deal in front of the election. It's not going to be worth the paper it's written on, but at least it's going to make the stock market. That's the overhang in this market right now, folks. Look at this volatility right there. More tariffs. Actually, I'm going to punt them to December. Actually, no, I changed my mind, and now, F me, F you, boom, boom, boom. It's the trade deal, folks. We get some sort of trade deal, even if it's not worth the paper it's written on. Guess what? The market's going to react favorably. And if the Fed bows to political pressure, unlike Bill Dudley, more or less committing treason here, a former Fed president saying, you know what, the Fed needs to right now stick it to the president so he doesn't get reelected. I'm still stunned that this guy, I'm not stunned that this guy did this, but that actually fuels, in a way, he shot himself in the foot because now the president has absolutely unlimited ammo to go. The Fed ain't being political. Under Barack Hussein Obama, Bill Dudley and his merry band of Fed lieutenants wanted what? Zero interest rates and quantitative easing. They're coming out publicly and saying they want to stick it to me, folks. So the Fed and China are your enemies, not me. I'm fighting for America. I could write this guy's campaign commercials, folks. This isn't hard. This is ammo for President Trump, and it was stupid. Bill Dudley is an idiot. A lot of insider selling, folks. Financial apocalypse is coming. Selling insiders, corporate insiders, folks, are selling an average of $600 million of stocks per day in August. And companies are slowing their share buybacks. So, folks, guess who leaves the crowded theater first? All these folks, the insiders, and then they get into their cars and they yell out the window "fire" as everybody else gets stampeded in the theater. That ain't gonna happen to us, man, because we know exactly what we're doing. Men lie, numbers don't. Look at our trades here, man. Bearish on China, neutral on volatility, bearish on the market. I'm actually thinking about putting on a weekly options bull put spread. If the president's going to go a couple more days without excruciating China. That's a big risk, folks. That is not without risk. I don't know. Maybe the president lost his phone, or maybe he is being strategically quiet. But man, we're looking. This is great. Love our three weekly options trades. We haven't done that in a while, and they are all going down the fairway right now. What $2,100, but $2,200 in profit since Monday afternoon on limited risk. So we're having a blast here, folks. But this is going to continue. These type of the big oscillations are getting smaller, but we're gonna stay in here for a little bit. We have about 3 weeks to go until we have the Fed meeting, and it just doesn't appear that the president's going to let up on beating up on the Fed. And I only think the Fed can let us down. I think if they cut maybe 50, one and done, the market goes lower. I think if they cut a quarter, the market goes lower. And I think if they do nothing, the market goes lower. Just like I predicted up here, folks. People said, come on, you're wrong. They're going to cut. I'm not wrong. This Fed rally is already built in here. The dude sat in front of the House and Senate and told you what he was going to do. And weeks later when he did it, I said it's going to be a sell on the news. And man, were we right. Okay. All right, folks, I got to get going. I have a coaching call at noon, and then I'll see many of you for accelerated retirement at 1 o'clock. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and God bless. We'll see you tomorrow.